I got you into a Remington party. What's my thanks? It's on the hallway carpet. I got paid in puke. Lick it up, baby. I got paid in puke.
Welcome to Paid in Puke, a podcast where three women with names discuss movies that are about something other than a man. Paid in Puke is hosted by Amy Green, Cristina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. It's also a spoiler-filled free-for-all. You've been warned. On today's episode of Paid in Puke, we take a deep dive into J.D. Dillard's 2020 creature feature, Sweetheart, starring Kiersey Clemons. Just as I'm hitting record, an airplane's going by, I hear some kids playing.
Inside.
We are broadcasting from Christina's backyard. We talked about doing it last week. We're doing it this week. We're committed. We're all set up. I feel like it's appropriate because today's movie takes place all outside.
Yeah.
We're on a desert island known as Christina's backyard to talk about J.D. Dillard's Blumhouse creature feature, Sweetheart, starring Kiersey Clemons.
Validated.
Which we just looked up. Sweetheart tells the story of a young woman who wakes up on an island, the only survivor of a shipwreck, and soon learns that a deadly creature stalks the shores at night. I was not particularly familiar with Clemons. I was reminded by IMDb that she had a small role in Transparent, and she was in the Flatliners remake that I didn't see, but she will be in Antebellum, which
yay!
is highly anticipated by us. And then there's people bumping by.
Okay.
Okay, well, it's funny because it really was so quiet here. We ate dinner out here and it was so quiet.
Right. You could hear a pin drop.
Anywho, Lily's out here going nuts.
I'm gonna put her inside.
Oh my god. The neighbor kid's crying now. Well, this will be the most ambient episode yet. Here we are to talk about Sweetheart. We should start doing that.
Yeah, let's talk about Sweetheart.
I didn't really know what to expect too much, other than it was on a bunch of lists that I'd seen. It had been on my horror to watch lists for a while. Guaranteed clickbait thing for me is like top 10 horror movies you didn't know about, or the best horror movies, hidden gems or whatever. Most of the time, I either have seen the thing or it's not a good recommendation. But yeah. I thought this one worked out pretty good. What did you guys think?
Yeah, I didn't know anything about it other than when it started, Netflix called it a creature feature. So I'm like, oh, fun. I liked it. I liked it in the beginning, and then I was like, is this whole movie going to be just her on the island? Is this like Castaway or something? And then it definitely turned up for me when there were two more people on there too. But she was great. Sometimes it's creature features I do not like when they show the creature and it is so dumb looking, like Jeepers Creepers or something. Right. Yes. So I like that the creature was actually pretty scary.
Yeah, he was pretty creepy. They got a former bad robot J.J. Abrams guy to design the creature.
Oh.
He did the Cloverfield monster, among other things. So I was getting some Shape of Water vibes from the guy, though.
Oh, yeah,
the
definitely.
fish guy.
Yeah.
I totally thought of.
I didn't think of that, but
like,
yeah.
When I was watching that, I was like, "That's the fish man."
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's like a dumber Shape of Water guy, right? Because the Shape of Water guy, I think of as a poetic soul in a fish man's body, but this guy's obviously like a straight-up killer monster.
Now I want to feel like it's canon that they're connected. So it's like his cousin or something.
Right? My cousin Marvin. Marvin, Shape of Water. Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. I liked the sounds they used, even though it was sort of almost generic Predator ripoff sound. They have like a guttural dolphin sound that sea creatures always make for whatever reason. Maybe there's some science behind it, like echolocation.
Yeah, like the whistling sound when
Yeah.
she's in her hammock and she knows that she's not alone. Before it makes an appearance. She's realizing there's something crazy out here on this island.
Yeah. Although there were some hot probs with that for me, so I guess we could start with some hot probs.
Shut up. Hot probs is on.
Oh shit, yeah.
The torso that washed ashore, I have a theory about that, but there was a torso that washed ashore. But then he eats the whole corpse of her first guy. Was Brad the first guy?
I think so.
That was still alive at the very beginning. He just took his whole body. I assumed he ate him. And then he took the half of the remaining body of the other guy. I think his name was Kirk, because they talk about Kirk later. I just thought there was some weird inconsistencies with what he left behind and what he took, the monster. And then also, like, why he didn't eat Brad before she buried him. She's on the island that first night, and she doesn't bury Brad. She just leaves him there and builds a shelter. And then the next morning, she finds Brad's body again, but also all the fish on the shore. Maybe he was menacing her a little bit, but then the next night, she buries Brad, and then he digs him up and takes the body away. When you meet him, though, he doesn't seem smart enough to fuck with people. He seems like he's kind of just like a stone cold killing machine.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. That just seems inconsistent there in terms of what was going on. Mm-hmm. What did you guys think?
My hot prob was she was so clean and dressed, perfectly dressed for somebody that just washed up ashore. And then she found her suitcase.
Her suitcase washes up.
And then she has more clothes, and I'm like, wow, she's really got, like, her clothes look
Her clothes
great,
were
you know?
very
They don't look
clean,
like they've been
yeah.
in a shipwreck or anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good suitcase. I
And
guess.
very-
It got everything wet, but somehow it kept out all the sludge and seawater. Like, they weren't affected by the seawater at all.
Yeah.
She just hung them on a tree to dry, and then she just looked like she walked right out of H&M or whatever. Yeah, I definitely wrote down that swimsuit is super cute.
Yeah, her swimsuit was super cute.
Yeah.
I had a hot prob with the other girl. I forgot her name, but I feel like she had a...
Yeah, Mia. That's
I
right.
feel like her accent kind of went back and forth. I'm like, is she English? Is she American? And
I thought
then
she was Australian.
British. Well, I mean, okay, I'm one of the like British Australian, same thing. I know you
Maybe
know
that's-
accents, but sometimes I felt she was American. She started talking. She's like, oh, you want us to take the raft? And I'm like, okay, so she's like something. And then she said something super American. And then she went back to the accent.
And they're off. You don't hear waves. You don't hear anything. For the first time in my life, I thought I was gonna die. I really thought that was it. And it's funny because all I was thinking about is how embarrassing it'd be. Everyone back home's just waiting for me to fail.
Let's wait 1 sec.
Yeah, let's think about this.
We'll give you a moment to ponder.
Let that sink in.
Whenever I see something like that in a movie, I always think of my friend Fiona, who is Scottish but went to boarding school in England and then college in the US, and so like her accent is, depending on how much she's had to drink, it's sometimes more Scottish and sometimes more English and sometimes more American, and maybe she's just one of those people. She's like very international.
That's true. When I'm talking to my mom, my Jersey accent comes out.
Jesus. All right, we get it. We're in an air traffic control space.
Another hot prob. I feel like this is a hot prob I've had so many times. Is what about Lucas is appealing?
Oh my God, I know.
Why is it always a thing? It's like someone has this terrible boyfriend.
That guy.
Why?
fucking
I
sucks.
hate that guy. What did I write? Lucas sucks so bad. Lucas sucks ass.
I wrote, okay, so her boyfriend sucks.
Right.
Right about the time he was blaming her for the storm that shipwrecked them.
There's always a black cloud hanging over your head. You know that, right? This whole thing, Jen, it's so crazy. I was having a great time all week. On a boat with my friends. Weather was perfect. Brought you on this incredible trip. Everyone's having a great time, except you, right? And the night you come up to tell me that you might not be happy, that you maybe don't want to be in this, storm clouds roll in. How perfect is that? No matter where you go, there's always a storm right behind you.
Lucas, you know I love you. But this is not the time to talk about this.
I wrote that down. Literally blaming her for a storm. relatable.
And maybe
also-
being racist about it because he was like, you have this black cloud over you.
And also just like being a controlling boyfriend, even when you're stranded on an island. That's some next level.
And telling her she's crazy and she's being needy.
I know this all sounds crazy.
Yeah.
I really need you to believe me.
I do. It's just a lot to process, alright? I mean, we just need a little bit of time, okay?
And meanwhile, she's tied up. She's tied to a tree. That's where the title comes from, too, because he keeps calling her sweetheart.
Yeah, I did not like that.
It's getting dark. Get ready to leave.
Sweetheart, are you even listening to me? We are not getting on that fucking raft!
No, that's gross.
She has a name.
Her name is Jen.
Right. I knew it was something.
I got that from the closed captioning right away. That's a nice thing about closed captioning. You sometimes learn things that you wouldn't have learned otherwise for a while. Because later on, I think she looks at her passport or something. She looks at something that with her name on it. No, it's her journal.
Yeah. The other girl definitely called her by her name.
Yeah,
I mean, I heard
that's
someone
true.
say her name for sure.
Well, another hot prod for me was that I wasn't quite sure what Shape of Water's powers were. Because
Right.
sometimes it seemed like he knew where she was and sometimes he didn't. It seems like he definitely didn't have a good sense of smell because he was right on top of her a couple of times. But
Right.
then another time, when she's in the hammock and he was right under her, he totally knew she was there. So I don't get why he knew she was there, but he didn't really know where she was when she was in the log, but then he started rolling the log. But then he didn't kill her. He could have easily just ripped the log open and pulled her out.
So it was like he knew she was inside.
I thought, why else would he roll a log
true.
across the
Right.
beach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm telling you, he was
He
playing
was just
mind games with
fucking
her.
with
He
her.
was.
Why was he doing that? Was it because he loves her?
I mean, that's my first thought.
Yeah, this is just the kind of man she attracts. Too bad it didn't turn into a love story.
Right.
I do love that he ate her boyfriend, though,
Yeah.
because that guy fucking sucks.
God.
And
I hated
yeah.
that guy. A little hot prop too is when they're trying to escape in the raft and then the monster makes a big hole in the, is like getting them. And I feel like for a little bit they act like they're still gonna go. This raft is like, it's huge holes in it, leaking water into it. And they're like, all right, well, he's gone.
Yeah, for a second
Where do you
they
think you're
seem
going?
relieved. Like,
Yeah,
they don't have
they're
a huge
just like,
hole. Yeah.
like, you're not gonna keep rafting here. Like,
Yeah, you should definitely go deeper in the ocean with that thing. With
right.
the hole in the
Yeah,
bottom
it's
of
fine.
it. A person-sized hole. I also wrote down Chekhov's bottle of expired pills, but then is question mark, and then it never pays off. And then
It's
it's
not
also
Chekhov's.
even more interesting because I looked up what the pills were, and there's something called flufenazine, sorry, and it's an antipsychotic schizophrenic treatment.
Ooh.
Wow.
So whoever the family was before, the mom was schizophrenic. It's just kind of interesting that was thrown in there,
Interesting.
and
Yeah.
there's a shot of the pills, and they never talk about that.
Did I rub sausages on my tongue?
Was it?
This dog just keeps licking my legs.
Aw.
It's really funny.
Lily,
Yeah, I
what you
don't
doing,
know.
buddy? She likes you. Did you wipe your hands on your tights when you weren't thinking or something?
I mean, maybe, but I don't know what's on my hands. It just tickles.
Yeah, I mean, I thought maybe she was gonna try to knock her boyfriend out with the pills later on. No, I don't know. I don't know why you would put
Right.
that in there and then not pay it off.
Yeah.
I guess I'm used to the kind of script where they would pay that off.
Right. It seems like something that would be there for a reason.
Yeah, and that's the family that there was a Game Boy. So it
Mhm.
seemed like the family that was murdered was from like the 90s or something.
Yeah,
or,
the
like,
pills
80s.
expired in 1994.
Wow.
And I wrote that down because I was like, this will be important, and then it wasn't at all. And it kind of seemed like they went there on purpose on a picnic or something. I don't know. They had a cooler. They were taking pictures of each other. Like, isn't this awesome?
Yeah. And, okay, so when she finds all their graves, I mean, I thought Mia made a good point. Well, who buried all those people then if everyone dies here?
It killed them.
How could you know that?
Because I found their graves. They were buried here.
Well, then what happened to the person who dug the graves?
Or why did they not get eaten? Or why did they not get pulled into the black hole in the ocean?
Yeah.
That's what he does. So that part I kind of wondered about.
Yeah, that's true. Mia was already predisposed to not believe anything that Jen said, though.
Jen's got a lying past.
I guess. Like. Everyone's real salty about it, but...
I know.
I hated the boyfriend so much.
Yeah.
When he's like, I'm just trying to make you feel safe.
Yes, he's like yelling that at her.
Oh, God.
Yeah, I feel really fucking safe right now.
Just saying, I just want to make sure you're okay. And I just wrote in big words, no, he doesn't.
Yeah.
Lucas, untie me.
Not until you promise me you'll relax. You alright? I just want to make sure that you're okay. You're fine.
Yeah, it's like the nice guy that keeps talking about how he's
What a nice
Yeah,
guy.
he's so condescending. Oh, yeah.
Wanna
Here's my
care for
laundry
you.
list. Yeah, you would be nothing without me. Let me remind you that I provide everything for you all the time.
So what were you gonna do? What was your plan?
I told
exactly?
you. Head west.
No, I get that. But you head west. You get found and brought back home. And then what? You've got no one else. Where are you gonna live? You gonna go back to school? And afford it how? I pay for your life. And you pay me back by taking the raft and leaving me here to starve to death?
You don't starve here. That's not what happens. You get torn into pieces and dragged into a hole in the middle of the ocean. That's what happens here.
Right, or like a guy who flexes about the stuff that he should just be expected to do anyway. You know, like, I'm just listening to you. I'm just, you know, like,
Yeah.
I'm listening to you. Like, you're supposed to do that. You don't get credit for stuff like that.
Yeah,
You know?
trying to keep you safe. I saw a funny thing on Twitter today. I don't want to get too into why. It was related to the news, but it was like a picture of Ted Bundy doing the dishes. And I thought that was really funny. It's just, I mean, that says a million words. Right? Oh, are we supposed to think he's a great guy now because he did the dishes one time?
Right.
And then also I was really annoyed that she didn't go further up the beach when she was trying to leave. When they were like, worst egg, and so she secretly packs up the boat and everything.
Yeah.
But then she pushed the boat out of the beach like 100 feet away from them where they can still see her.
It's like right there.
You can go around the corner a little bit so you can get away.
Well, it seemed like she was always on the same beach. I don't know if we ever saw the other side of the island.
She walked around the whole island. Like the first day, she walks around the island.
Yeah.
And they show her leaving the corpse that's on the beach and walk around, and then she comes back around the other way toward the corpse.
Oh.
She did the perimeter, and then after that she walks into the woods to see what's in there, and that's when she finds the cooler and all that stuff, the camp that's in there. Yeah, I feel like it's not a very big island. But she still could have gone around the corner out of sight and gotten away. I mean, I don't know if she would have been saved if she did that, but she definitely, she would have had a boat that didn't have a hole in it, because the monster wasn't looking for her to escape at that point, I don't think.
Right.
That's all my hot props, though. I mean, I mostly really enjoyed it. And the creature feature, I think, by nature, has plot holes in it. It's really more about the creature and the atmosphere than the tight script. I get spoiled by people like Jordan Peele, you know, where like, oh shit, that's so tight. Everything pays off. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool for the most part.
Next call.
Yeah, I really liked also the first time you see the creature when she shot the flare gun and it sort of illuminated the creature. I thought that was really cool.
That's a really cool reveal. I don't usually get startled by things in horror movies because I'm expecting them, but that one I was like, oh!
Yeah.
Wow! It looked pretty cool silhouetted in the red flame.
Yeah.
And I also really liked the hole. The hole is pretty trippy. I liked the hole design a lot. It's like perfectly round and kind of seems to have its own gravity and the way this sand is like being pulled into it. I thought that was really neat and horrific looking and just a cool... It probably was just all CG, but I don't know. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, the swirly kind of... It's gonna take you under, take you in.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And the fish, they all had an electric blue design to them, it seemed like.
Yeah, they were very tropical looking fish.
Yeah, they were cool looking.
Like, they shot the movie in Fiji, and I don't know if that's supposed to be where they are, too. I guess I don't know why it wouldn't be. But yeah, I wonder if those were, like, actual fish that are native to that area. It's kind of nuts how many different kinds of fish there are in the world.
Yeah.
And, like, all the little tiny sharks. There's so many little tiny sharks. It was really fun when she caught a shark. When
Yeah.
she speared that shark.
I love that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
shit.
was-
Yes.
Oh shit! Yes! 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 Oh shit!
That would be very exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was bummed when I realized that she was going to use it as bait and not eat it, because I thought she was
Yeah.
going to... She looked so bummed when she was eating that tropical fish earlier. It didn't seem like it tasted very good. A shark probably tastes pretty good, because sharks get illegally killed for their tastiness all the time, so... Shark fin soup. At least cook the fins, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
You have an excuse. Okay, so it really did seem like they were camping there on purpose, that group, because they also had... I wrote down the other things they had scary campfire stories.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
And a teddy bear. They were like planning to sleep there. So that was real unfortunate for them. And they were
Yeah.
like, we're going to go to this island and have a fun little camp out. Do you think that that monster was in that picture?
I thought it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was his eyes, and she was trying to convince the other shipwrecked friends that that's the proof that this monster exists.
Yeah.
And thought she had seen it one other time, and then she noticed it in the photograph.
I feel like she was seeing parts of it anyway when she was hiding. Like she could see its feet and...
Oh, I'm.
Lilia is making out with Amy's legs right now for some reason.
It tickles like so bad.
You gotta stop being so tasty, Amy.
What have you heard, Lily?
She's just going for it.
Lily. Sorry.
It's fine. I just feel like I want to know. You know, like it's a parallel. Like we want to know what motivated the monster and what is motivating Lily right now.
She wants to know about motivations. This seems like maybe a good time to tell you guys about my theory.
Okay, yeah.
Which is, like, as soon as Jen opens up the knife that she borrows from her boyfriend, and she sees that it has blood on it. I can't remember actually if it was before that or after that Mia was like, you don't know how hard it was out there, and is extra defensive and is like, I'm not fucking getting back on that raft. But as soon as I saw the blood on the knife, I was like, oh, they ate somebody. So I thought that they maybe cut off, like they cut that guy in half.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh my god.
But they threw his torso in the water because they didn't want to look at his face anymore.
Yeah.
And they're like, let's just eat his legs.
I mean, that's a lot. Half of a
Half a man.
Yeah,
I mean.
that's plenty.
Didn't the boyfriend complain to her, you're starting to sound like Brad or something like that? Or
Yeah.
So I kind of wondered, was that guy in the raft and they shanked him or something?
No, so Brad
Or-
is the... If you said Brad is the guy that was on the beach with her in the beginning.
He had like the coral.
Yeah, he had the coral.
Oh, okay.
I did make the note Coral is a motherfucker because shit. They
Yeah.
really do bleed a lot when he gets even scraped with coral, let alone impaled with it. But yeah, that guy's Brad, and that was Mia's
Was
boyfriend.
Mia's boyfriend, I think, yeah.
But
Yeah,
Kirk,
she didn't sugarcoat it at all. She's like, Brad's dead.
yeah. Well, Mia's a bitch, so
Right.
the other guy was Kirk. And that was the guy that they found only half of. Also, Mia says something about I didn't even know those two guys. She didn't know Brad or Kirk very well.
Jen didn't, you mean?
Jen didn't, yeah.
Yeah, that's
In
right.
her
Yeah,
journal.
she did say
so
did.
she said she didn't know their last names.
Oh, right.
So I wonder if they didn't know Kirk very well either, if Kirk was Brad's friend or something, and that's why they were like, we can kill him because we don't know him very well.
Oh, yeah.
That's
that
why we
would
feel
be the
justified
first
eating his
one
legs.
eaten, yeah.
Oh, shit, sorry.
Time to brush your teeth.
Yeah. Because obviously Mia and Lucas, is that his name?
Yeah.
The boyfriend, they seem to have some kind of bond.
Yeah. Maybe that's
Some
what
kind
they
of annoying,
bonded over.
yeah, we ate a guy's legs bond.
When they try to stop Jen from going out in the raft and then she gets hit in the head and passes out in the water, Mia was like, I didn't know what else to do. She was like, I don't care.
You had to tie me up.
I think just for now. I'm sorry. Really. I shouldn't have hit you like that. I didn't know what else to do.
I don't care. Just untie me.
I love that response.
I guess I get that they didn't want her abandoning them then, but they should have just fucking gone with her instead of being such dicks about it.
Right.
And I wonder if part of it was they didn't want her to discover the blood on the raft, but then why didn't they, like, ever try to clean it or anything? They just seemed super weird and guilty the whole time.
Yeah. It's also weird why they wouldn't believe her. Why would you make that up, you know?
How would you make that up? I know. Mia's like, well, you made up that story about the mugging. I don't know why you'd make that up either, but it would be more reasonable to make up a story like that. Like, I don't have any money because I got mugged, than like, there's a monster on this island that wants to kill us, so we need to leave right now.
Right.
Yeah, I love it when she gets them to the shore and then they make a campfire and they're drinking the old Coca-Colas and they're like, oh, this is great. But then Jen's like, okay, we need to leave here now.
Yeah.
You know, as soon as you're ready.
I know Mia acts like they're just on some cool vacation at that point. She's like, this is beautiful.
This place is beautiful. It's a miracle.
It's incredible.
How is there soda here?
There was a family here a long time ago, and they left a bunch of stuff.
It'd been a couple days, right, that they were on that raft. Although also it's kind of funny, like, it had been only a couple days, right? They ate
think
someone
so,
after
yeah.
just, like, 48 hours. I think you can go longer than that without food.
Wow. Yeah, but...
Unless something happened to him.
Yeah.
Like he died
like
anyway.
right, maybe.
I couldn't
But I
really tell
mean-
what his other injuries were.
I mean, 2 days is a long time without food. And then
Yeah.
also that you don't know how much longer it's going to be.
That's true.
I had no idea there were going to be other people in the movie. I was kind of excited. Like, yay, dialogue is coming.
Yeah.
You know?
That was sort of one of the twists that they kept. You think it's going to be just a woman on an island versus this beast, but it ends up other beasts show up and they're humans. I mean, there's definitely a lot being implied there about who the real monsters are.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that her boyfriend's wearing a devil mask and the only photograph she has of them together.
Yeah.
There's definitely some symbolism there. And we can get into the meaningful passages.
I've already started underlining meaningful passages in her copy of Moby Dick, if you know what I mean.
Because one of the ones I wrote down was how he's like yelling at her, I just want to keep you safe!
Right.
I feel super safe right now, bro. Thanks.
I didn't see anything. There's nothing out there.
Because it doesn't come from the tree.
I just want you to feel safe.
We're all just trying to figure this out.
Figure it out.
Yes, figure it out.
We need to get away from this place as soon as possible.
And then I also write down, you don't know what it's like out there.
I'd rather die on the raft than in this place.
You don't know what it's like out there.
It was like, oh shit, they did something fucked up. They definitely
Yeah.
did something fucked up out there.
I wrote down when Mia says, it's not that I don't believe you, it's just that you've made it really hard for me to believe you.
I'm not lying to you.
Right. Like when you got mugged before we left. Jen, it's not that I don't believe you. It's just that over the years, you've made it pretty hard for me to believe you.
This is a little different.
I just want what's best for everyone.
I really don't need you to tell me what's best for me.
I think it's that you don't believe me, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was a funny way to say it.
Yeah, well, it's a very, like, this is all your fault kind of way to say
Right. It's like, it's not that I don't believe you, it's just that you're a known liar.
it. Exactly. That would have been the shorter way to say it. That's
Right.
exact same thing.
I liked truth doesn't come with a receipt.
Yeah, I wrote
Sometimes
that
all
one.
we have is our word. I love that.
Mia Reed and my boyfriend, Lucas Griffin, arrived on a raft a few days after. And they were both killed by a monster that lives just off this island. And there's nothing I can do to prove that. For a lot of my life, I've struggled with being believed. The truth doesn't always come with a receipt. Sometimes all we have is our word.
I also liked when Lucas was talking to her. He's like, okay, you're scared, and I get that.
Just need to rest up, all right?
No, you don't rest here.
Jen, you've been alone and you're scared, and I get that. But whatever you've been seeing, this animal...
Not an animal!
That is like the very like refrain. Okay, I have to pretend to acknowledge you, and then I'm gonna immediately dismiss it.
Yeah. Don't think I'll be coming to the beach much after this. I thought was pretty funny.
You still have that sound? Because everyone does. I don't think I'll be coming to the beach much after this.
I don't have that many because
Yeah.
the first half of it was pretty much no dialogue at all.
Yeah, there's not that much dialogue, but I really like the way that Jen says. So Lucas is like, Mia's really sorry about hitting you with an oar. And it's after Mia was like, yeah, I'm really sorry about doing that. And I just like the way Jen says she mentioned it.
She's really sorry about what
Yeah,
happened.
she mentioned it.
I can tell she's really fucking sorry. And I also really liked when Jen was like, this is not the time to talk about this, when she's talking about their relationship, and she's like, dude,
Right.
Yeah, no wonder she was gonna break up with him. He's like, you were gonna break up with me, you were being such a bitch, you made the storm happen, then you were gonna break up with me.
Made the storm happen. Right.
And then he's like, and by the way, what are you gonna do without me?
Right.
If we get home, if we survive this, you're not gonna have any money when you get home. Like, she needs him. Ugh, gross. He's so gross.
Yeah.
I hate that guy.
Yeah. Had a lot of issues with him.
Yeah. I was pretty stoked because I knew that they were both gonna die horribly.
Right.
Because you can't not believe someone about a monster in a movie and then survive.
Oh, yeah, the insignificant non-believer.
Yeah.
Always dies.
I guess these were significant non-believers, but yeah.
Right.
Oh, and then Mia was like, I wrote down guilty, who's guilty? Because I think Mia was saying, I know you feel guilty.
I think we've all been through something traumatic, and we're all just trying to cope with it in our own different ways. I'm just as guilty. I am.
Guilty? Who's guilty? I didn't make this up.
Basically, she was like, I forgive you. Those people were the worst.
Yeah.
What else does a suicide need, huh? Now, if you'll excuse me.
Despite all of my hot props that I had, I do really like that things aren't over-explained. Like, there's lots of stuff to discuss because we don't really have too much backstory. We've just got hints here and there.
Right.
And they don't even really explain anything about the monster either, obviously. So, I don't know, I think it's cool. I liked that we got to see him for the most part. Damn it. That's a really loud airplane.
Who is even still flying in these uncertain times?
I know. There were some really good moments with her. Well, the scene where she's trying to help her friend and get the coconut water, and like it's too late, he's already died, and she's panicking. And I thought she was a really great actress. You can feel desperation and how afraid she is. And then she was walking around the island and then looks around, and it's like, just like nothing, just the horizon of the beach, and she's realizing that she's really alone. She's just so expressive and such a good actress, I thought.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you have to have a lot of faith in your actress to let them have that much of the movie without any lines.
Yeah.
And all action. I mean, that's like the ultimate show don't tell, right? I thought it was pretty cool how, I mean, she was understandably freaked out, but also she was really business about it. Okay, this is a fucked up situation, and it doesn't look good for me, but I'm still gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna build a shelter, and I'm still gonna scavenge on the island, and still gonna try and fish, and I'm gonna try to survive, even though it looks pretty bleak. I thought that was a great character trait. And it kind of makes me feel like when those other people come up and they're assassinating her character, it makes it feel like they're the liars. Because, like, everything we've seen so far, she seems pretty self-sufficient and, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it. She was just very nonchalant about when the half body washed up and she just strung it up and hung it there. You know?
She was like, I can use this.
Yeah, I was like, why is she doing that? But then it was to catch the... Didn't she do that so she could catch the monster or something?
That's what I thought it was about.
I think she wanted to see him. She wanted to see more of what she was dealing with, which is also really smart, because it's like, you don't want to just immediately be like, I'm going to try to trap it and kill it right away. Like, you have to know what you're dealing with, especially if it's something you've definitely never seen before.
Yeah, she definitely seemed really... She was such a survivor. She knew what to do. It took me a little while to figure out, oh, she's trying to see what this monster, what his deal is, and is going to lay a trap for him. Yeah, she had some really good instincts. In the beginning, the first fish that she catches, and she's gutting it over the rock, and it seems like it's almost making her want to throw up because it's so gross. As the movie progresses, it's like she's whittling all these spears and laying these traps, and she's like really getting good at surviving and knowing what to do and knowing how to catch the monster, how to survive.
Yeah. I feel like that's part of a process that happens sometimes when you're in survival mode. At first you're like, oh, this sucks. I wish I didn't have to do this. And then eventually you just get used to that trauma, and it escalates, and you're just trying to... Yeah, there's always like a little bit of a rejection of this scenario at first.
Yeah.
But even so, she was still being pretty badass about it, you know? She was like, this is fucking disgusting, but I know I have to eat, so I'm going to do this. And then later on, she's like, all right, well, I've already eaten raw fish like 6 times, so this is no big deal right now.
Yeah. I liked that the movie didn't have a lot of... I feel feel like with a lot of those survival movies, there's a lot of flashbacks.
Yeah,
What
that's
the
true.
people's life was like or their memories, but this one you're just kind of learning the relationships with people and you don't have a lot of the backstory.
Yeah,
Right.
I love that. That is very unusual. And it's, again, a lot of faith in the story that you're telling there and also in the actress, that you're able to tell a compelling story with just the present and just what is able to come out naturally. So that's pretty great. You know, it's really well-written action, I guess.
Right.
No dialogue.
I mean, there's a lot of inherent drama in just that situation.
That's
What
true.
do you need about, like,
I'm actually really surprised Amy hasn't brought up Survivor yet. Because
I know, I was thinking about you. I was like,
when she speared the fish, that's a very Survivor moment. Well, it's funny. I do think a lot of Survivor, but that's like my least favorite part of Survivor. It's more, for me, the gameplay element.
Okay.
And I feel like in the later seasons, like if you go and watch the earlier seasons, it's so much more focused on the survival aspect. And then I think people were more interested in the gameplay. But yeah, no. It's like, I would have been fun to see her like try and build a fire with like nothing.
she had matches, but not that many. It reminds me of... I was recently in Oregon at a rental house, and we were on the coast. We were on a beach, and the house made reference to matches and a lighter in the literature that you get, but there was nothing. We scoured the house for something to light a fire with, to just have a little fire on the beach and cook marshmallows. Couldn't find anything, and I know we could have just gone to a store, but COVID time, so we were like, let's try to make do tonight. And also it was really late and getting close to bedtime for the kids. Anyway, so I was like, well, one thing I do have is some sort of spark maker that was in my earthquake kit in the car that my mom gave me like a million years ago. And I was like, I'll go get that and we'll try to do this. I never touched it. I handed it to my husband and I turned around and I looked back and it was broken.
Oh,
And apparently a bunch of people had tried to use it.
Oh.
But I was like, thank God I learned now that that thing doesn't work and I'm going to have to get something else.
Right.
Because we would have been fucked if we were like, we need to
you
make
actually
a fire
needed
right now
fire,
to cook
yeah.
food and not just roast marshmallows.
Right.
So now we have a lighter in our earthquake kit.
Nice.
I need to make a kit. I don't have one.
I don't know. You're one up on me because I don't have one.
We should get a paranoid mom
Right.
who makes you do it and asks about it every time she visits and continuously sends you things for it over the years. A lot of it was just buying a backpack to put all the shit my mom had sent me in and then adding like aspirin, which she never would have sent me.
Yeah, right. She's like, just massage your pressure points. You don't need that.
There's coconut oil. That should solve everything. Well, this is a good segue, I think, into the lunchtime poll.
Right.
So this is what's called a lunchtime poll.
Which is, what is your best survival skill? What are you going to bring to the table in a survival situation?
I will go first. Well, first of all, I have to admit, I think I'm like a first one dead kind of person. I had a real hard time thinking of this. But two things that I think I'm good at, this is also something that comes up on Survivors, untying stuff or, okay, so like, you know, if you're picking blackberries and there's always a bunch that are out of reach because you're going to get too scratched up. I feel like that's a strength of mine that I can get in deeper and have a tougher skin, have the patience to really untangle something. If there's a situation where it's like, okay, there's a resource that's hard to get, that would be my
That's a good one.
asset. And then I also, again, a survivor thing, and also from just doing colonoscopy prep for the fourth time, I feel like I am good at handling hunger that comes along with being stranded. I feel like I can deal with that better than some people can. So it's not much of a strength. I had a hard time with this because I do feel like if I'm like the one person stranded on an island, I'm like, all right, I'm dead.
Yeah. If you're by yourself. Yeah.
My skill would probably be gathering stuff to make a barrier or like a rooftop of some kind. Maybe like weaving together the palm leaves. I think I would be good at that.
Shelter
Yeah,
or...
making a shelter.
Yeah.
I think that would be my skill. I've never done it before.
Oh, I was going to say, did you like build forts in the woods when you were a kid?
I just like doing those very repetitive building pattern things like
You could build a whole wall made out of Karens, for instance. Try to get past this. That's cool. I always like a good, well-constructed hut in a movie or whatever shelter scenario. Have you ever seen the Maze Runner movies? Or I guess it's just the first one, really. These teenagers build this village out of they weren't given really anything, and they kind of build this little village. And I just love that kind of shit. It's like Ewok village style.
Nice.
Shelters. I love it. Well, I guess we're probably all going to die. I'm a great camper, but I'm definitely very into glamping. So I kind of feel like I'm more like the Samwise Gamgee, Lord of the Rings guy who I know how to... If you get me the food, I'll make it taste good. I'll cook it and make it taste good. That's what I could do. I can cook a stew in the woods.
What we need's a few good taters.
But yeah, that's not all that helpful.
Well, that would be good for me because I don't like eating fish, and that seems like the only thing that was there to eat on the
Well, on that island, yeah,
Yeah.
fish and coconuts all day long. That's about it.
Yeah,
So
you
I
have
could
to like
use
a
a
tropical
spice.
cuisine.
Yeah.
Ceviche. Well, see, what I would do is be able to find some sort of acid in the woods, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I hope. I should probably study more foraging so I could actually know what's edible.
Right.
But, yeah, if you find an acid, you can make a ceviche, and then it's not going to taste so nasty. That I can handle. Maybe extracting the sea salt.
Wow.
To make things taste good. See, I could think of things like that.
We're going to need someone who really knows what they
I know. We really are.
Lily, PU. I don't know what's
I
happening
know.
over there.
I was just thinking about it.
How very.
Speaking of foraging for stuff on the island, I know the ending is pretty ambiguous, but I was really worried about how on fire everything was at the end of the movie. It doesn't feel like the most happy ending. She's got a boat with a hole in it and an island on fire.
Yeah. It's not looking so good.
Yeah.
The one nice thing was that a plane seemed to go by a couple times. It always went by when the monster was, like, right about to kill her.
Right.
So she couldn't do anything about it. But hopefully they will be going by at some point while the fire is going before it consumes her or she dies of smoke inhalation.
Right.
But I still thought it was a pretty satisfying ending in terms of her survival, and I liked that she cut off the monster's head because she was like, no one's going to fucking believe me. So I better bring some proof back in the form of this disgusting head.
I did really like when she was trying to float on the suitcase.
That was a really funny, kind of
Yeah.
nice. Like, there wasn't a lot of comic relief in there, but that was a little bit funny. There was
Yeah.
that and her celebratory fist pump when she catches the shark.
Yeah.
Both really
And
good.
her outfits, too, when
Yeah.
she changed it. That was a very
Yeah.
cute swimsuit.
Oh, I know. I was
Yeah, all of her outfits. She had the little shorts and the shirt ensemble, the
Yeah.
overshirt. Yeah, she was killing it in the looks department.
She was.
Today's shout out goes to our listeners in Pennsylvania, where we've had 11 downloads. Yeah. I know Norm is there.
Oh, right, Norm is there. Maybe it is Norm. Yeah,
Yeah.
I bet Norm has listened to some episodes.
Yeah.
Well, I love Norm.
Me too. I
You
think
remember
that's the
Norm,
only
right?
person
Were you
I
ever
know.
friends with Norm? Facebook friends with him? When he
No,
used to
but
be
I know-
Cal Bemfo.
Oh, yes. No, I recognize that name.
Yeah.
I do love how much he loves his cat
Yes,
and all
he's
cats.
a very-
and one of my
very
favorite
devoted to his cat.
Instagrams is his when he goes to Paws and he just like posts all the cats that are at Paws.
Yeah.
And their names and their personalities, and I'm just like,
Right,
and then
right.
Instagram's like, here's a bunch of cat shit. We noticed you like cats. It's a very good thing I don't live in Pennsylvania because I probably would have adopted like 100 cats from that place by now. Do we want to do us next time?
We can. I watched it already. I'm gonna record. Oh God, I gotta do it tomorrow. I'll record something with Logan talking about it because
Oh, cool,
we watched
yeah.
it together. They had seen it before already,
Oh,
so.
okay.
But that's definitely a movie that holds up to many rewatches, I'm sure.
I would think, yeah.
It feels like every frame is significant in that movie.
On the next episode of Paid in Puke, we tether ourselves to Jordan Peele's 2019 horror allegory, Us, starring Lupita Nyong'o. If you enjoyed this episode of Paid in Puke, please take a minute to rate us highly on your preferred podcast listening apparatus. If you did not enjoy this episode, no further action is necessary. Paid in Puke is hosted by Amy Green, Cristina Barr, and Jessica Baxter. Music by Silent Partner. Follow us on Twitter at Paid in Puke Pod, or join us on Facebook at Paid in Puke Podcast. Thanks for listening.
Lick it up, baby. Lick it